in the concert itself, you can't hear anything. You're like muted. But when you go back, okay, and when you listen to those videos, okay, attached to your mouth while you're filming, you will hear your atrocious voice. Hello and welcome back to Sandra's Shelf, where I talk all things self-help. So today we have a fun video. I know it's a bit of a lighter tone now. We're switching it up. The way that I come about these videos is literally like they're inspired more or less by my life and my experience and like what's been working in the inner workings of my mind. So like say if I go to a concert, I'm obviously going to start thinking about how to have a good concert. I'm obviously going to start thinking about why I love concerts so much, and that's just the nature of who I am. I just like to intellectualize every experience and I like to think about everything. I know that not everyone prefers to live their life like that. I know not everyone is like that, but I think it's like it's in line with who I am as a person. Like I've always loved reading, researching, analyzing, writing, and expressing things. So that's exactly how I come up with these videos. If you're wondering why are they so weird from title to title, because one day I'll talk about recovery, and the next day I'll talk about concert, and the next day I'll talk about productivity, and the next day I'll talk about relationship. It's literally a little bit based on my personal experience and the things that are happening more or less in the current moment or around the same time that I'm posting. Sometimes it happens weeks or months ago and I post later about it. Anyways, it's just like a digital self-help diary. Sometimes I feel like I forget my own advice and I forget that I've been through the same thing, so it's good for me to just share it out there and remember and go back on these videos. And I think the beautiful thing about YouTube is that it's like a time capsule, so like you will literally have videos that date from years back and you just can experience and see what was on your mind, what were you talking about, what were you thinking of, etc. But let's cut this discussion short. Maybe I'll make a separate video on inspiration and how I go about filming my content and coming up with my content, if anyone's even interested in that. But for now, let's go into today's video topic. I'm sorry, I know this is usually how I talk, so that's why I have to script a little bit my videos beforehand, because I will say one thing and I'll end up talking about 10 other things. So these videos are a good exercise for my brain. You see, I'm doing it again. I don't know why. I can't help myself. But yes, that's why I have a script. Let's stick to the script. And these tips cover the before the concert, the day of the concert, and during the concert. So without further ado, let's get rock and rolling. So before we get into the tips, I just want to quickly explain that I love concerts and I feel like I've always had a good concert experience, and that's where I'm coming from, because I've seen the 1975 3 times in Toronto and it's always been a good experience. And I've been to many other concerts. Like when I was younger, I went to Beyonce, I went to Hilary Duff, then I went to Lana Del Rey, then I went to Years and Years, then I went to Codaline, etc. So that's where I'm coming from. I really love concerts. I actually wish I could go to more concerts, and I think I'm going to make this a goal of mine coming up in the next few years, because since COVID, you know, things haven't really been the same. But I digress. Fun fact, the reason why I said let's rock and roll is because Mariah Carey's twins are named in a way where she gets to call them Rocky and Ro, and it's because she named her son Rocky and she named her daughter Monroe, so it's like rock and roll. Anyways, I found that super cute, super funny, and she had them on stage. So this week I went to 2 concerts. I went to Mariah Carey, her Christmas edition, where she came in Toronto, Scotia Bank, and then I went to the 1975 their Greatest World Tour, I believe that's what it was called, and again at the Toronto Scotia Bank Arena. It was the first time I went to the Scotia Bank Arena in Toronto, and I went to it twice in the same weekend, and it was a good experience overall. But regardless, I can't really insert any of the clips for those who are curious. I have those clips up on TikTok and on my Instagram if you want to see actually the concert, but I won't be able to put them here because of the copyrights law. They're pretty strict. I could put some clips without the sound, but I know it's not that, you know, efficient. But maybe I'll put the clips while I'm talking just so you could see, because a lot of the concerts are about performance. You don't have a singer, like, it's not like me who's sitting here on a YouTube channel and I'm just sitting. A singer will literally perform and put on, like, I would say a play, because Mariah Carey had this entire Christmas production, a lot of people on her team dancing, singing, caroling. And then the same with the 1975, they have their band and then they have extra band mates that were working with them, and they had a house set where they would play on the house set, especially Maddie, he would play around. And honestly, both concerts were amazing. Obviously 1975, I'm biased, it was the best concert I've ever been to ever, but more of my thoughts on TikTok and Instagram for that. So let's get right into the tips now. I'm sorry I spoke too long, but the tips are really quick and they're really practical. These are my 10 concert tips to have the best concert experience ever. So when it comes to before the concert, my first tip is to know when the pre-sale of the tickets are and when the actual official sale with the time and date is. The reason why is that most likely, especially if you're gonna have a popular artist, there's gonna be a lineup and a queue, and if you've ever followed any of the Ticketmaster drama, it's a whole ordeal on its own. So with the 1975, every time they've dropped tickets, I was there in the lineup, and the trick with the lineup is always to be there a few minutes before it's launched, because sometimes you have an early access because they let it become available, because I don't know how the system works honestly, but all I know is that the quicker you get the tickets, the cheaper they are and the better seating you have, and the more likely you are to actually get a ticket. And if you can somehow be a part of the pre-sale, that's even better. The thing with pre-sale is that it involves usually you buying something or pitching it into something that the artist is selling, or that the platform you're using is promoting. So just be wary about that. But I think if you can't make the pre-sale, because I never make pre-sales, but I make it on the day that it's being sold right away, because that's when it's the cheapest, the best place, and etc. Another thing is that if you have general admission, I would suggest to go and queue early so you can get the front rows and stand in the front rows or on the side of the front rows. But again, this is a really tricky one, because some people don't mind camping out and waiting for the entire day, 1 day, 2 days. But I think for me personally, that's not something I would do. I wouldn't want to be into that. But I do think that it's good to queue super early if you do get a general admission ticket, and if you really do want to be in the front rows. Like, I'm so upset that I didn't take general admission for the 1975, because Matt Healy literally jumped into the audience and everyone got to see him and hold him up and like have really clear videos of him. But it's something that I learned now, and next time I will definitely buy another general admission ticket, and I'll definitely queue early, maybe like up to 18 hours early. I think I saw someone on TikTok saying that they queued for 26 hours. But I'm choosing not to believe that, because that's too crazy in my opinion. But it is what it is. Like, there's some people that are really like crazy fans and active concert goers, and I admire them. I just can't be them. My second tip is that as soon as you have your ticket, save your ticket into your wallet, your phone wallet, a digital wallet. Because the thing is, the last thing you want is to not be able to log in, not be able to retrieve your ticket. And nowadays, I don't know where you're operating from, but here in Canada, most of our tickets now are just digital. Like, everything to go in, nothing is printed anymore. Every sign is saying, you know, have your phone, have your digital ticket ready. So that's just the society that we live in nowadays. So it's better to be prepared, have your ticket already on your wallet. Like that, you're not stressed, you always have it on you, and you don't have to log in, it's just already there for you. So my third tip before the concert is to think of travel and living accommodations. So if you're traveling from far or traveling at any distance to go for a concert, you really want to know how much it's going to cost you to travel there, how much it's going to cost you to stay overnight, etc. You do not want to leave that, first of all, to chance, and you don't want to do it last minute, because you might end up spending hundreds of dollars. Like, if you're already spending like $200, $300, $400, $700, even $1,000 on a ticket that you really want to go see, the least you could do is some more research and get the best affordable pricing for how you get there and where you're gonna stay, because it's just that it becomes ridiculous. We know how the market is nowadays. It's just ridiculous. Those who take the time beforehand to prepare usually have the best luck in getting the best deal and the best location, etc., for the best prices. So don't hesitate to like literally look at your options right away. Maybe you want to buy a train ticket. Say if I was going from Montreal to Toronto to go see a concert, I wouldn't want to drive that 7-hour drive. I would instead want to take a 3-hour train, and the trains can be very expensive if you book them last minute, last days, or last weeks. So if you can get a train ticket beforehand and get it for cheap and have everything settled so you don't have to worry, that's even better. And if you can carpool, or what I'm saying essentially is to just be prepared and get that stuff out of the way. I know that the concert that we went to, it's like an hour away. Like, we live in the north of Ontario and the concert was down in Toronto, so you know, we were already prepared to like maybe hit traffic and have an hour drive at least. But the good thing is that we got parking, so we paid parking beforehand, so we didn't have to stress. And then because we knew where the parking was, which is close by to the theater, then we knew the next time where we would park and how much around it would be. So always be prepared, never go into these type of situations blinded. Now we're coming on to the day of the concert. My fourth tip would be to clear your storage. So I did this, and yet I still haven't cleared my storage enough. So when I was at the Mariah Carey concert, I had no issues filming and taking my video clips. However, the 1975, I wasn't prepared for them to go on for like 2+ hours. So at some point I lost storage and I literally wasn't able to record my favorite song ever because I was so busy screenshotting and deleting all the apps on my phone. So you know, like, this one is a really important one, like especially if your phone's always out of storage. Like, do yourself a favor, just take everything out if you need to, because you're gonna be more upset with not filming than, you know, having everything off your phone. Trust me, especially if it's your favorite band, you're gonna feel what I felt. So storage, clearing your storage is always a good tip. It's always something to keep in mind. And then another thing, because you're using your phone and you're probably going to use your phone for, you know, traveling or whatever, or spending time on your phone and taking videos, calling, whatever, it's good to have a power bank, because at some point you're probably going to need to charge your phone, or the person next to you is going to need to charge your phone. So I have one big powerful power bank, and I got to charge my phone and my sister's phone, and I still had a lot of charge left. So really, it saved my life. So this is the power bank that I have. I literally have no idea which company and brand this is, but it's amazing because it's still at 79%, and I used it on the last concert. And it's crazy how it can last for a few hours and charge your phone at least 2 or 3 times. So I'm gonna ask my father what company this is, because it's actually his power bank and I literally stole it for life. So I'm just gonna ask him, so I can link him down below for you guys to shop, because highly recommend this one. I don't know which no-name brand this is, but it was amazing and it saved my life more than once now at any event that I go outside of the house. So my 6th tip for the concert is to have a small bag or a small purse or a small fanny pack, because nowadays they're so careful with what people are bringing in. They don't want you to bring fluids, they don't want you to bring any illegal substances, and they don't want you to bring these cameras, because obviously, like, they don't want that. So I suggest either getting like a small purse, okay, where you can put your phone, a mini wallet, and I don't know, maybe some other things that you need, like makeup or tissues, whatever. Or you get a small fanny pack like this. This is the one I use for my camera, but it's so good because you can attach it at the front. The thing is, if you get a small backpack, you risk having someone yank at it, or you risk having someone steal it completely. So the best thing is either a small purse or a small fanny pack that you can attach to your body towards the front, where you're sure to be secured and safe and no one can like easily rip it off. My 7th tip is to be comfortable. I actually feel like a lot of people in Canada respect this rule a lot, because it's so cold here. It's so inconvenient. Like, you know, if you live anywhere outside of Toronto, like, you're gonna go like big distances. So you have to dress comfortably, like have comfortable shoes, have items and layers that you can literally take off without it being too bulky, or without it being like too warm, or without having not enough layers because you might get cold. So I think it's really important to dress comfortably. If you're one of those people that can go and walk around with heels and not have any problems, and if you can stand with heels for like X plus hours, then kudos to you and go ahead and do it. But for those who don't feel like they can do that, they can't be like in certain type of dress shoes, there's not really a dress code. This is not like a formal event. Concerts, like, although they're like, you know, this big event, like, people dress however they want to dress. Like, I've seen all kinds of people dress all kinds of way. Obviously sometimes you want to dress like the wardrobe of, or the aesthetic of the concert, like, you know, the 1975, it's all about Converse and it's all about black suits and etc. But you know, it doesn't mean you have to wear heels. You could wear still like flats, right? So just dress comfortably, and if you want to dress up, you can dress up as well. Make sure you can find a way to make it comfortable for yourself, or at least not be too cold. I don't know, like bring a little sweater vest or something. Now we reach my during the concert tips. So tip number 8 is don't sing during your video recordings, because yeah, I don't know how many times I have to learn this lesson. It doesn't matter how many times I've been to a concert, I literally get so overwhelmed that I start singing, and then when I go and visit my clips, it's so embarrassing because all I hear is my voice. But when you're in the concert hall and everyone is singing and the artist is singing, or even if the artist is singing and just you and some other people are singing, you will hear it. You will hear it. In the concert itself, you can't hear anything. You're like muted. But when you go back, okay, and when you listen to those videos, okay, attached to your mouth while you're filming, you will hear your atrocious voice, okay, on those videos, and nothing ruins your video more, especially if you have a terrible voice and you're just like singing with all your might and it's just like covering the artist's voice. So just remember that from here on out. Film a little bit and then stop filming, sing, film, sing. I think that's the best approach now. From here on out, I think that's the best thing to do. And then my 9th tip is to enjoy the moment. I know you're more likely to want to film everything, or you're more likely to want to like post right away and share the excitement, but you're gonna end up missing the concert. Like, you paid that X amount of money to be there and to be in the moment and witness the artist in the moment, right? I think like it's also like a sign of respect towards the artist too, to like be engaged, not be doing other things while you're listening to them. Have a moment where you're off your phone, have a moment to even talk to people around you, get to know them, get to know like their history with the band and the concert, get to have, you know, make new friendship and new relations with people that also love going to concert in your city, right? So really, like, you want to absorb and enjoy the moment. It's so easy for us nowadays to film everything and to be living on screens that we sometimes forget that it's made for off the screen. Like, you spend so much time watching your favorite bands and artists on the screen that this is the one time where it's off the screen and you should really enjoy it, or try to enjoy it at least. Now my 10th and final tip is to buy merch after the concert. Most likely there's gonna be a big lineup before the concert, especially if there's an opening act, because people, if they don't care about the opening act, they will line up anyways, especially if they have seats. So I think like this is something to consider. I know that if you wait after the concert, there are risks that you won't get the size that you want, but a concert t-shirt, you can do so many things with a concert t-shirt, and you can try to fit it to your size or like tie it up and whatever. But unfortunately, it's just a choice that you have to make. Either you risk, if you're in the general admission area, either you risk a nice spot or you risk losing a shirt. Personally, I think the shirt is not that big of a risk versus, you know, losing your spot, because you get to actually see the artists even closer up. The shirt, you can always find an equivalent online. I know it's not the same. I know it's more fun to get the shirt the day of the concert and have a new shirt. Trust me, I know firsthand how that feels, because the first 2 1975 concert, I got a shirt right after the concert and they were more or less my size. But this concert, before and after, there was a big lineup, and me and my sister, we just didn't want to wait for it. So yeah, I didn't get a shirt. So, but I think that the best would have been to wait after the concert. But I think these people were all waiting after the concert, but a lot of people were waiting before the concert. I don't know if this is a good tip or not anymore, but usually in the last few concerts that I ever been to, getting a shirt after the concert has always served me more than trying to get a shirt before the concert. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay, so that was the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed these concert tips. I hope you're gonna have the best experience ever at your next concert. I hope these were helpful. If not, don't let me know. I mean, okay, do let me know, but also share what tips that you follow to have the best concert, because although I am a concert goer, I think I consider myself someone who fairly enjoys a concert at least once a year or twice a year, but I'm not like one of those like super into concert people. Like they like have like millions of tips that I would never even think of, right? I would have to watch their videos to know of. But I think this is more for the general person that wants to go to their first concert or wants to keep going to concert and wants to figure out how to best have the experience. So these are the tips for that. These are general tips, but also very specific tips in my opinion. So yeah, feel free to share as always, and if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe. I would love to have you here on Sandra's Shelf. Every week we discuss something new. Every week I share some of my experience, but also some of my tips. As always, these are my own personal tips. Nothing is being licensed. I don't have any degrees that are related to these tips. The only degrees that I have is an undergrad in English and in French, and a master's in French. So in case you wanted to know what my degrees and specialties are, and even then I would not go around saying that I'm a specialist in literature, you should listen to me, I'm the law. I will never ever be that person. I think that it's good to always be open to new opinions, to share opinions, do research, do your own personal research, and you know the drill. So yes, enough rambling. You guys know me already. I just love to talk so much when the camera is on because I feel like I'm on a hot seat. I honestly feel like I'm on a hot seat and it's like, okay, go, action, talk. But I don't know. It's weird because I'm not a very talkative person in real life, but when it comes to the camera and I start talking and thinking about things, then I start to get really interested into the topic and blurt out. But now we're gonna stop and I'll see you next week on the next shelf. Bye!